Since McLaren partnered with Smith Peterson Motorsports in 2020, there has been one man to thank for any form of success: Pato O'Ward. If you don't know who Pato O'Ward is, where have you been? O'Ward has featured in IndyCar since making his debut late in 2018. He has also tested Formula 1 cars for McLaren in recent times. McLaren have not had a vast amount of success since joining IndyCar, but any success they have had is down to this man, Pato O'Ward. Pato O'Ward had his best season in 2021 with McLaren, coming agonisingly close to winning the title, but we are here to discuss how he carried the team through the 2023 IndyCar season. When our McLaren announced the signing of Alexander Rossi and subsequently a third car entry, people, including myself, thought that McLaren were going to hit the ground running. A constantly improving team with improving facilities and 3 top drivers is a formula to succeed, right? Alexander Rossi, although in recent years may not have been overly successful, is an amazing talent. In case you forgot, he won the series' biggest race in 2016 as a rookie. He won the Indy 500 as a rookie. You know, I would say it's difficult, but I've done the exact same thing in a Project Cars 2 league. The season started off in decent fashion. St. Pete could have most certainly been a win for Pato O'Ward, but a split-second rev limiter issue cost him the win. Well, he said it was a rev limiter issue, but some believe Pato pressed the pit limiter button. Overall, it was a positive race for McLaren. The new car seemed competitive and only narrowly missed out on equaling the non-oval win total in 2022 by the finest of margins at a very early stage. Next up was Texas. Qualifying arrived and people very quickly found out that McLaren meant business. For the first time in a long time, McLaren were the quickest car. Rosenqvist, Rossi and O'Ward were all exceptionally quick in practice and qualifying, and Rosenqvist took pole for the race. Rosenqvist and Rossi would not challenge for the race victory as much as O'Ward, but would still run in consistently high positions. Pato O'Ward and Team Penske driver Joseph Newgarden at one point lapped the entire field apart from each other. O'Ward and Newgarden duked it out with the pack after a caution restart, the two high flyers running side by side for numerous laps. The race, however, was called to a halt right before the end as Romain Grosjean crashed and brought out a caution. McLaren, however, certainly looked like they meant business. Long Beach was a disaster for Pato O'Ward. Any sense of composure he had in Texas had been lost when he went for 2 very rash and costly moves, one after another. Rosenqvist was the only McLaren in the top 10, finishing 7th. Next up in Barber, O'Ward took P4, Rossi P8 and Rosenqvist P9 in a return to form for the team. The season had picked back up and things were looking positive heading to Indiana. When they reached Indiana, the rise continued. O'Ward and Rossi finished 2nd and 3rd with Rosenqvist 5th. A lackluster race from entertainment perspective, but a fantastic result for McLaren.
Stop! Wait a minute!
The big one was next in store for Arrow McLaren. The Indianapolis 500. If we briefly glance back to Texas, we remember that McLaren had a very good oval car. Rosenqvist, Rossi and O'Ward were quick in practice. Pato at one point recorded the highest ever top speed into turn 3 during practice. The trio were never really in any risk of not qualifying and they made it easily into the race, with Rosenqvist and O'Ward both challenging for the pole. Some Spanish kid called Alex Palou took it, however, and now he seems kind of fast. The race was going exceptionally well for McLaren. Drama early in the race for front row drivers Alex Palou and Rinus VeeKay saw a gap open for many. McLaren put O'Ward on the best strategy, putting him out behind Rosenqvist and Kirkwood on the best tyres. He dispatched both quickly. O'Ward was driving around the brickyard like he never drove before, confident, composed and comfortable. Maybe third time was the charm? Well, unfortunately, this driver's high did not last long for O'Ward, and the team's brief experience of paradise was even shorter. Rosenqvist made a mistake through turn 1, ran onto the marbles and hit the wall. He ricocheted back onto the track and spun. Kirkwood clipped Rosenqvist. This caused the Andretti driver's tyre to launch off its tethers, fly into the crowd, and sending Kirkwood into the wall. Kirkwood inverted and went down the track headfirst for a couple hundred metres. Kirkwood was okay and got out of the car within seconds. The tyre that launched into the crowd missed all grandstands and grandstand patrons. Fortunately, one parked car was caught in the crossfire, but it could have been much, much worse. With this caution, it left the order in pit lane be O'Ward, Ericsson, Newgarden. On the first restart, O'Ward was too slow and had it waved off by the marshals. The second one was better by safety standards, but O'Ward got a poor getaway. He dropped the third behind Newgarden and Ericsson, heading onto the back straightaway.
We go at the Speedway! The restart of the Indy 500, Marcus Ericsson and Pato O'Ward, and here comes Joseph Newgarden, taking the lead for Team Penske.
And stacked up behind him with Joseph Newgarden, third to first. You see them too wide scrambling, maybe a dive down into two there from Connor Daly on Scott Dixon.
Watch Santino Ferrucci and Alexander Rossi on the back straight. Rossi's in the orange car, Ferrucci goes to the high side. These two did not like each other in practice on Friday, and Ward goes to the front.
O'Ward on the inside of Marcus Ericsson and spins! Pato O'Ward has crashed out of the Indianapolis 500.
That was a wild ride for Pato O'Ward. Thought about going to the inside, came up, went back down for a late move. Other cars involved, Augustine Canapino moving slowly, and it looks like one of the Meyer Shankage. Oh! No control, obviously, for Canapino. Hits the stopped car of Pato O'Ward. Carnage in 3.
Simon Pagino is the pink and white Meyer Shank car. Canapino comes to.
The incident is still debated. Should O'Ward have gone for the move? In my opinion, he shouldn't have gone for it, but he did. Ericsson can't just cut across him because O'Ward went for a risky move. Newgarden went on to beat Ericsson in a thrilling finish, Ferrucci getting third. McLaren's ambitions of an Indy 500 win once again were simply just ambitions. They got close but once again left the brickyard with their tails between their legs. As Alonso would have said, they looked like amateurs. Next up was Detroit, a new downtown street circuit which was bound to provide some mishaps and chaos. McLaren, however, got a head start and completely messed up O'Ward's pit stop and sent him a lap down. When Pato came back onto track, he was running the risk of going 2 laps down to Alex Palou, so he went for a, quite frankly, stupid move on a back marker, trying to get a lap back, and ended up in the wall. Debate Indy all you want, this was completely Pato's fault. O'Ward didn't just put his car in the wall, he put his championship hopes, his potential bounce back, and maybe even a future FIA super license in there as well, for good measure. This was his third misjudgment of the season. The first one in Long Beach had relatively small championship consequences. He got away with Indy from a championship perspective due to results elsewhere, but this was punished. Badly. On the brighter side for McLaren, Rosenqvist and Rossi both had strong performances, if you can brush aside them almost taking each other out and totaling their cars multiple times, that is, but in the end, Detroit was a heartbreaker for McLaren. Road America was a bit of a pick-me-up. Pato fought with top dogs such as Colton Herta, Alex Palou, Joseph Newgarden and Scott Dixon and managed to pick himself up onto the podium. O'Ward spun and caused a red flag at the very start of qualifying for Mid-Ohio, eliminating himself instantly, but fought back through the field on Sunday much more composed than previous. He finished P8 with Rossi P10. Rosenqvist was hit by fellow Swede Marcus Ericsson on the opening lap, which eliminated him from competition. Yeah, Ericsson likes hitting orange cars, seemingly. Or ones that look orange. Toronto was mixed, with O'Ward being the better of the three once again, finishing P8 Rosenqvist P10 and Rossi P16. You can kind of see why the title of the video is what it is. Pato has been consistently the best driver throughout the course of the season, despite having many issues of his own. Race 1 at Iowa saw McLaren return to the podium, once again with Pato O'Ward, but it was evident their oval package was not as strong as it was back at Indy or Texas. Race 2 saw Rosenqvist finish P4 with O'Ward falling down to 10th in the late stages due to a poor strategy. Rossi, once again, the worst performing driver, down in 15th. Nashville was Nashville. McLaren didn't catch a break with a best finish of P8 from, you'll never guess who, that same person, Pato O'Ward. He got another podium in the return leg at the Indy Road course. Gateway in Portland once again saw McLaren feature on the podium in each, Pato O'Ward and Gateway on the oval, but it was Felix Rosenqvist who came P2 in Portland, benefiting from a late race caution. In the final race of the season, Rosenqvist took pole in Laguna Seca with a stunning track record breaking lap. Rosenqvist, however, was involved in incidents throughout the race and finished P19. O'Ward was leading late into the caution-filled race, but a horrendous strategy by McLaren saw him finish 9th. Rossi was the best of the Papaya cars in 7th. So how did McLaren finish the season? Well, there was no wins for the team, the first time that happened since 2020. They scored 10 podiums, 7 being thanks to Pato O'Ward. Is it safe to say that O'Ward carried and is carrying McLaren? Of course it is. He's their only driver to win since James Hinchcliffe in 2018. He's been their best performer since joining the team in 2020. He's beaten every teammate over the course of a season since joining the team as well. And he's also got them into the Firestone FAF 6th the most since joining the team. The only thing he didn't achieve in 2023 was a pole or a win. Some critics have said it is the greatest IndyCar season without a pole or a win, and I would have to agree. With the announcement of David Malukas joining the Arrow McLaren team in 2024, it seems like the team are aiming to take another step up. Will McLaren become a serious IndyCar threat, or will Ninja Hans have to slice his way through and carry McLaren once again? Certainly, if this video is to judge Pato O'Ward's tenure at McLaren, the British team have a lot of thank you messages to send to Mexico. If you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to pop a subscription on the channel. And thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you next time.